Well, welcome back to everybody. This week's shir, we're going to focus on Parsha insights. There's a story in this week's Parsha which seems very basic, but there's so much more to it. There's a story told about a rabbi who goes to speak in his shul, and one of the congregants brings a newcomer to religion, Judaism, to come to the shul together to find out drasha. Anyway, the two friends are sitting next to each other in the shul, and the rabbi gets up for the Friday night sermon, Friday night drasha, and he comes up to the bimah, and the rabbi takes out a talis. It's very common in shuls in Chutz La'aretz, and he wraps himself and puts a talis, and the friend says, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" He says, "Well, as a respect for the community, the rabbi dons a talis." Where the rabbi then walks up to the aron and gives a kiss to the paros, the curtain, and again he says, "What's the rabbi doing now? What's he doing now?" So he said, before he dresses the community, he first dresses Hashem, God, for permission. And the rabbi approaches the pulpit, he takes off his watch and puts it down, and the friend says again, "What's he doing now? What's he doing now? What does that mean? What does that mean?" So he says, "Absolutely nothing." In Torah, there's no story which means absolutely nothing. In the Parsha, we hear the story about Yaakov fighting the Malach. It's a very brief story with very small detail, but with so much meaning. The story itself, as we know it, is that Yaakov is now crossing over the river into Eretz Yisrael. And what happens is, after crossing all his flocks and all his sheep over, he decides to go back. And when he goes back, as we know, the Torah tells us, he meets a malach. Vayivaseh Yaakov levada. Yaakov was by himself. Vayavek Ishimoy, and a man fights and struggles with him. And we know from the basic understanding of the Torah, they go till dawn, until where it says, Lo yochol lo, that what? He couldn't overcome him. And what happened was that the malach then hits Yaakov on the thigh. And the story goes on, Yaakov won't let the malach go until he blesses him. And we said that the story ends with what? That it says that as a result, today we don't have you for the Gid HaNasheh. That's the story in a very nutshell. I want to ask three questions. The first question is, what is the confrontation? What brings about the fight? The Torah doesn't tell us. The second question is, how did Yaakov beat the Malach? If you ask me for a fair fight, and Hashem wants a fair fight, I would say that the angel, which the Parsha tell us is the Sar of Esav, the Malach of Esav, is going to fight with who? The Sar of Yaakov. So why is it a fair fight? How is it that Yaakov, a mere mortal, can take on an angel and win? And the third question is, what does the Gid HaNasheh have to do with anything? Just because Yaakov is hit on his thigh is a remembrance for now and forever that Jewish people can't eat from the Gid HaNasheh. What is the connection? And then maybe after all of it, we can bring it to a message to us from the Parsha. Let's focus on the first question. The Medrash tells us there's two stories that possibly could have happened. It's a machlokas between two Tanaim. The first time explains in the Medrash that Yaakov was waiting by the river to take over all his flocks, and the angel comes disguised as a shepherd. He comes disguised as a shepherd with all his flocks, and all his sheep, and all his camels. And he says to Yaakov, "You're a shepherd, you've got sheep, you've got cattle, you've got camels, you go first, and once you've taken all your animals across, then I'll take mine across." And Yaakov takes all his stuff across, and when Yaakov finished taking it across, he says to himself, "Maybe I left something behind. Let me go back and check." And when Yaakov goes back and checks, the malach, disguised as shepherd, says, why have you come back? You've come back to steal from me. You've come back to be a thief. And that begins a confrontation between the two. That's explanation number one. Explanation number two is the malach comes disguised as a bandit, as a thief, the head of thieves. And he comes to all his cattle. And he sees Yaakov and he says to Yaakov, again, I've got sheep, you've got sheep, the whole story. But he says different, says the Midrash. He says, I will help you if you help me. And Yaakov explains on the Mephoshim, in order not to get into a confrontation, he says, you know what, let me just help him and help me, and that way I can get away without getting into too much problems with him. And the Yaakov says, fine. The Midrash explains how the malach, keheref eye, in the blink of eye, takes the entire flock of Yaakov and puts it over the river. Now it's Yaakov's turn to help the malach, the bandit. And the Midrash says that Yaakov starts taking one by one across. And every time Yaakov goes back to the other side, there seems to be more sheep and more cattle. And Yaakov thinks of, he must be a sorcerer. He must be some wizard doing some magic. So Yaakov shouts at him, wizard, sorcerer. He takes a piece of material and tries to shove it in his mouth so he shouldn't do any magic. And that begins the confrontation. Two perushim, two explanations on what is the meaning. What started the confrontation? That is point number one. I want to just jump. Point number two. How is it that Yaakov beat the malach? Again, the Midrash offers two explanations. The first is the Midrash gives a marshal. The marshal is of a mighty king. And the king has a son. And the son, he goes to Germany, works out. And because he's the king's son, he can choose whatever he wants. He decides one day he wants to take on the best boxer, the best athlete in the world, the best boxer. Of course, the king organizes all of it. The king organizes it and the match is on. The tournament is on. And they're fighting away there. And slowly but surely, what happens is the boxer is beating out the king's son. And the boxer's winning, and when he looks up, he sees the king standing there. And the boxer thinks to himself, I can't beat the king's son. It's forbidden for me to be the king's son. So he starts to lose until he loses the match. The nimshal is obvious. Yaakov is losing. And the malach looks up and sees who's there? None other than Hashem himself. Because you know why? Because the sire of Yaakov, the angel of Yaakov, is Hashem himself. There is no angel over Yaakov. There is no angel over the Jewish people. There's only Hashem himself. So Master says, I can't beat him, and stands back. That's the first explanation how Yaakov beat the malach. There's a second explanation how Yaakov beat the malach. And the malach was coming to take on Yaakov. Says Hashem to the malach, check yourself. Yaakov is coming to fight you with 5 segulas. He's coming to fight you with 5 segulas. He's coming with the segula of his grandfather Avram. He's coming with the segula of his grandmother Sarah. He's coming with the segula of his father Yitzchak. He's coming with the segula of his mother Rivka. And he's coming with the segula of himself. Check yourself. Check yourself if you can take this man on. Point 2. That's how Yaakov beat the malach. 2 possible explanations. There's 2 types of emunah amongst the Jewish people. We have something called emunas Hashem and emunas Chachamim. When a person has emunah Hashem, nothing can touch him. But you need the emunas Chachamim, the trust in Chacham to direct you. My friends, there is a message from the story about our day-to-day life. Esav, the son of Esav, represents none other than the Yetzer Hara himself. The entire story is to teach the Jewish people that wherever you are in life, when the Yetzer attacks you, he comes to you in one of two faces. He comes to you either as a fellow shepherd, as a friend, and he works with you. You go first, I'll come after you. And then comes a confrontation where he's with your friend. That's the first explanation of how the sire of Esav, the angel, came to attack Yaakov. Because first he comes to the face of a friend. That's what the Midrash is telling us. But there's another face of the Esav. And that's Esav, the Rasha, the wicked one. He comes as a thief. You see him. You know he's wicked. You know him in front of you. And you try not to confront him, but he brings you into it. That is why the Midrash is telling us there's two possible reasons, two possible ways of conversation with Yaakov. It's not what, it's a message to us. How to look at the Yetzer Hara. And how do you beat the Yetzer Hara? There's two ways. The two ways Yaakov beat him, told the Midrash. The first is, if you're not strong enough, if you can't do it, no one asks you to do it alone. No one asks you to do it alone. There's a beautiful parable told about a doctor who just qualified from medical school, and his entire career, his whole life in university, in college, was just to be a medical doctor. And he scores his first job in a hospital. They tell him, because you knew, you'll have the nighttime shift. And not only is he a nighttime shift, he's so excited, he's working what? In a high-risk ICU department. Comes the night of his shift, and he's all excited. They phoned him up and said, are you ready? I said, oh boy, am I ready? He said, just listen to me. We just forgot to tell you, I want to let you know, you are the only doctor on call that night. But don't worry. If anything happens, just call for backup. Anyway, the night starts, the shift, and the things are pretty calm and comfortable. And as the shift wears on, he's a little tired, and eventually, close, about 2 hours before the shift, everything breaks loose. Machines are beeping in one room, another patient has gone cardiac arrest, something else, he's running from patient to patient, he's literally saving lives. But as the morning is coming, his strength is waning and weaning right off until tragedy strikes. One patient passes away. However, he goes home with a little feeling of sadness, but he still feels, for a doctor just started, it's unbelievable the amount of people saved that night. And he was able to fall into a nice soft sleep, comforted in his knowledge that how many people were saved. A few days later, he gets called into disciplinary hearing. Why? For his negligence of loss of life. In the hearing, he turns to the judge and says, I don't understand. You should have seen what was going on that night. It was probably humanly impossible. I saved so many lives. You should be giving me a medal, thanking me. It was humanly impossible to save that person's life. I was busy with so many other patients. Said the head doctor to him, who asked you to do it alone? Who asked you to do it alone? In life, Hashem throws us the Yetzer Hara. He throws us hard times and nisyonos. But you want to know the secret? And the secret for myself and for everybody else is what? Who asked us to do it alone? Hashem doesn't expect us to do it alone. The Malach is standing over Yaakov. The Torah doesn't tell us who's winning. It just says, Lo yochol lo. He's unable to beat him. Who's unable to beat who? According to first parish, Yaakov's unable to beat the Malach. The Malach is winning. But you know what? He looks up and he sees who's there. God himself. Hashem himself is there to protect Yaakov. Because Yaakov believes in Hashem. Yaakov knows, I can't do it alone. No one asked me to do it alone. That's the first lesson to us. The first lesson to us in life is when we have a Nisyon to us, no, there's something called Emunas Hashem. That will drag us through. But there's another way to beat the Torah. Emunas Chachamim. The trust in the Chachamim. There's another beautiful story, a beautiful message. The story isn't such a beautiful story, but it's a message. It happened many years ago that unfortunately an Israeli fighter pilot suffered from vertigo. Well, from vertigo, especially Air Force pilots, quite some years back, would fly because of doing flips in high altitude and things like that, would cause a sickness called vertigo, where they would think up is down and down is up. And as a result, in the early days of flight, pilots would actually crash thinking that what? The ground was the sky and the sky was the ground. In fact, in aeroplanes today, I don't think commercial airlines, but definitely in Air Force planes, they're more digital now, they first built in one type of meter which shows the plane if it's upside down or not. I've got the name of what it's called. And then when they first did that, they thought it would help the pilots. What happened was, pilots were so confused, they thought, no, we can't believe that. That's wrong. I'm right, and they still crash. So what they did in every plane, they're putting two. Then a pilot would realize it's impossible that both are wrong. Right? Impossible both are wrong. But listen to the story. An Israeli Force pilot crashed his plane because he suffered from vertigo. And at his funeral, of course, he was surrounded by family and friends who were sad. But one pilot was extremely, seemingly more sad than the others. Now, of course, he was more of a friend. And after someone went over to him and said to him, Achi, Makara, what happened? What's wrong? He said to him, I was up in the skies on the same day we were flying. And I saw him flying. I saw that he was suffering from vertigo. And I radiated into him. I said to him, listen, you suffer from vertigo, just follow behind me. Follow behind me. And he followed. And he seemed to level out. We flew together. And they flew for some time. And I'm thinking that he was fine. He had leveled out his oxygen levels, etc. Leveled out, it was fine. Now I flew off to what I had to do. And soon after, he went and he crashed. Our Chachamim, our Tzaddikim, our Nevi'im are our guides in life. Sometimes, many times, we may think up is down is up. Where do we go? Where do we go? We have to follow that front plane. We have to follow the front one. It says, follow us. We know where to go. The Mesillas Yesharim says it beautifully. The Mesillas Yesharim says it beautifully. He says that we are all in a maze in life. We're stuck in a maze. We need to get to the end of the maze. And how do we get to the end of the maze? Either you could try and battle your way through and hope you're going the right way, or you know what? You look up to the people who've been through the maze, and they'll tell you where to go. Don't go right, go left, go straight, turn back. They are guides. Emunas Chachamim. Says the Medrash, another way you beat that Yetzer Hara is you look at your schusim. Look where you came from. You came from Abraham. You came from Sarah. You came from Yitzchak. You came from Rivka. Angel of Isaac, know who you're dealing with. Know where he's come from, because he has Emunas Chachamim. And when you have Emunas Chachamim, you will not crash. You'll go straight. That is the beauty of the story of what Yaakov's telling us. It's a story for all time immemorial. But what? The Malach got away with one thing. Towards morning, the Malach hit Yaakov on his thigh. It's a Gidonashe. It says the Torah, therefore, Jewish people, Bnei Israel, can never eat the Gidonashe. What is the message? Says the Medrash. The Gidonashe is representative of the tzaddikim, of the Nevi'im, of the righteous men and women of our generation of all time. The Malach knew there are going to be hard times. And with these hard times, if they know where to go, I'm lost. He was able to hit them in a place, in our direction. That plane's a little fuzzy in the distance. Maybe that's not the plane I should be following. Maybe the dial isn't right in my aircraft. He hit us what? In direction. How many times in life is the direction so hard? That's where the son Esau hit. And you know where he hit? You know how he got to hit Yaakov? How did he break through? Yaakov had the emunas Hashem. If Yaakov had the emunas Chachamim, how did he hit him? How did he hit him? Says a Sforno, a few short words, but so powerful. You can be all so powerful and all so strong in your belief, but when you let worry get in the way, when you let worry, it clouds out. Says the Sforno, Yaakov was on his best, and the Malach showed Yaakov his children and generations to come what's going to happen to them, where they're going to be, and that scared Yaakov. And when that worry came in, it clouds Amunah. It clouds Amunah Hashem. It clouds Amunah Chachamim. That's how he managed to hit Yaakov in the thigh. The most beautiful message for us from a simple mindset with Yaakov is Yaakov is us and Esau is Yetzer Hara. But what I find so beautiful about this story, it's not about the Yetzer Hara in the base medrash. It's not about the Yetzer Hara in the yeshiva or when I'm learning Torah or the Yetzer Hara I'm davening in shul. What was Yaakov doing? He was working. No, the Yetzer Hara comes to us anytime. Not only when we're doing Torah learning or we're davening shul, and maybe in work, or maybe at home, or maybe in the family. And when he comes in, these are the tools we have to try and implement, to try and keep them out. When the hard times, the Torah comes, you have to grab onto Hashem. Let's just recap. I'd like to picture a beautiful marshal. We said the story of Yaakov and the angel, the Malach. And we focused on 3 points. We said point number 1, what was the confrontation? And we said the Medrash gives 2 explanations. One, he came as a shepherd, and how he said, you go, then I go. And one explanation was, he came as a bandit. You help me, I'll help you. And that's how the confrontation started. We said how that represents the Yetzer Hara in our lives. He either comes as a friend, as someone who looks like us. He comes on the same team as us. We're all shepherds, we're all friends. Or he comes as a bandit, you know what he is. But even still, he comes just as strong to confront us. The second point we focused on was how was Yaakov to beat an angel? It wasn't a fair fight. Yaakov's a mere mortal. The angel's a spiritual being. And we explained again 2 explanations. One is Yaakov had the emunas Hashem. The king was standing over. The angel couldn't beat him because the king was there, even though he was winning. And we said that is the first type of emunah person has, is emunas Hashem. Total trust in Hashem. And the second explanation was, how did he beat him? Was because he came with the schusim of his grandparents and his parents and his own. Emunas Chachamim. That's how he beat him. And we said finally, the third point, why they get an Hashem? They get Hashem because it represents those tzaddikim who help us, direct us, like standing on top of the maze, telling us where to go, left or right. We said how doubt and worry allows for the Yetzer Hara to seep in, and that's how it broke into Yaakov. There's a beautiful parable. I heard the name of Shimshon Pincus that and I'll say like this: why is it that Hashem allowed the whole story to take place with the Malach? What does Hashem want? Hashem wanted us forever to know how to relate. But more than that, the story is told of the family sitting home on Friday night, and the father's out at shul, and the kids are playing around, and all of a sudden the door bursts open, and a lion comes in the room. and starts roaring, and the kids are petrified. The kids run to rooms, they lock the doors, one kid's in the bathroom. And everyone scatters except for one little 4-year-old Shmuley. And he's just playing there. And the lion's getting closer. And he's roaring, and his teeth are menacing. And the boy's just playing there. And his brother's shouting, Shmuley, Shmuley, the lion's going to get you, run, run. Shmuley, go on. And as the lion bends down to him, Shmuel looks and says, Abba, Abba, stop scaring me. What happens? Takes off the mask and it's Abba. Hashem is the person behind it all. He's the one behind the mask. Hashem sent the Malach to Yaakov. Why? For a reason to teach us forever, but what to know that whenever that hardship comes, it's really Hashem behind the entire picture. Hashem is sending everything to us. It's our job to embrace it and say, Abba Hashem, I know it's you. Push away the worry. It's hard, we all know. Have the emunas Hashem and the emunas Chachamim. Abba, Abba, we know it's you. Hashem should bless us all. That we should be zoich that when anisyonis come our way and our hard times come, we should be able to see through the hard times and hold on to the emunas Hashem and the emunas Chachamim. Thank you.